Alright folks, how are we doing? It's Shabash, it's Orna and Hero of Aethric. Actually, we're doing a patch notes preview and rundown for the roadmap that they've also just released a couple days ago. So, nice little roundup video here for what is going to be 3.4 for Orna and 1.1 for Hero of Aethric. And as you can see, this is going to go public, open beta in just a couple days time. That's Tuesday, January 31st. And then they're targeting an official live release a couple of weeks after that, kind of mid-February. So let's get into it right away then. For both games here, we've got the Towers of Olympia dropping. So if you've not seen any kind of hype or release or preview stuff about Towers of Olympia and what it's about, you can check out my Towers of Olympia first playthrough video on YouTube right now. Kind of gives you an insight into what the gameplay is like, at least. You go through towers out in the world, you can build them in your origin town, and there's new classes, there's new celestial weapons and stuff. We're going to be diving into a lot more detail about the classes, about the weapons, the augments, and once that goes live, because it's still kind of in active development and changing every day. But I'll link to that video in the description if you've not seen it yet. Basically, yeah, heaps of content there. That's effectively their new kind of end game long form content, they're calling it. And then for Orna, we are getting the fishing hut, which has been in Hero of Aethric from the start. If you have never played Hero of Aethric before, the fishing hut allows you to trade in fish for coral, which is like a new currency. And I think it depends on your weight of the fish, actually. Let's have a quick look here. So this Crimson Snapper gets us 112, and this Embered Snapper, okay, they're actually not the same fish. These are all different fish. Never mind. I think it's weight though. Like the heavier the fish, the more coral you get. So rogueredmuskellunge, shout out to this guy. He's been waiting for this update for months and months. He must have hope you've not sold all your fish, by the way. Cost something like 5,000, 10,000. I don't know how many fish he's got. But anyway, you can buy things like a fishing hat, which increases your luck while fishing, all the fishing lines, another fishing hat. But then it gets interesting. You can actually buy summoning scrolls, and you can buy diluted mnemonics. I can't believe diluted mnemonic is a quarter of the price of a summoning scroll. At least this is in Aethric. I don't know if they'll change the pricing in Orna, but that seems really quite cheap. But yeah, you can also get the Fisher Sprite Pack. I don't know if they will actually remove the chance of you finding it in the game. Normally you can just randomly find the pack when fishing, so I don't know if this removes it. But you can also buy a new Sprite Pack, the Svargan Sprite Pack, which is, yeah, pretty cool. I don't know if you get a pink fishing line like that, man, though. That would be fun. So that's the fishing hut. Gives you some nice rewards for actually doing fishing. And then we have a really big one, an inventory overhaul. So let's have a look at this. Firstly, inventory is kept in sync with the server in smaller batches. These leaner batches greatly reduce the device processing power and RAM required by Orna. Essentially, this is speeding up your loading rates for like getting into the game. It's on alpha, which I've tried, and the game loads super fast, which is always good. And I can give you an example of the new kind of inventory. What does it look like? So you can have this is the normal inventory, what it currently looks like, and then you can hit this button here, which lists everything, and then you can select more. And for you veterans who have been requesting, for example, to select all on your normal gear with not accessories and stuff, you can do that now. But it's actually smarter than that. So if I cancel this, if I select these three, for example, and unlock these, what it will do is if you go to select all, it won't select your locked pieces of gear. So then you can easily, for example, I could dismantle these, I could junk these, I could drop them, etc., or storage them, for example. So that is really, really nice. I don't know if there's any more ways to filter your gear than normal. This was all pretty good, what we had before. So that's all kind of normal stuff, and then usable by your current class, for example. Yeah, but the main thing is having this ability to select more gear than usual, and not just your accessories. So that's yeah, definitely 10 out of 10. New management tools for inventory, and then auto dismantle options can now be found in your item bag and in battle. So the quick items, you can go here to auto dismantle by quality, by tier, so you can kind of more easily do it on the fly. It's the same in Orna, by the way. I know I'm in Aethric right now, but it is the same in Orna. And this one as well, never automatically dismantle or drop event items which have the exotic tag. So that's always a good one if you are targeting specific event stuff. And I think for the inventory overhaul, that's pretty much it, which is yeah, overall a really good change, of course. So 10 out of 10 for that inventory overhaul. Fishing hut coming to Orna. I don't fish, but I know a lot of people fish. Maybe I'm going to fish for Diluted Mnemonics. I don't know. Interesting. We'll give it an 8 out of 10. My personal subjective pointless opinion. We then have the Benefactor specialization. This is kind of the first summon-based spec coming to both games. And essentially, you're going to sacrifice your own power or increasing your summon power. Interesting. I think it's actually tier 9 spec, that is. So the tier 7, tier 8 class, summoner class, already very, very strong for new characters. But at least having that spec is going to be an option. I've not played it, I've not checked it out, so I don't know exactly how it feels. But it's interesting. Another spec, another option, always good. We'll give that an 8 out of 10, my personal rating. Now this one, all dungeon types, including unthemed, can now be run in horde mode. This is something many people have been asking for a very long time. The fact that alt play has dominated since its inception of party play, and I've never enjoyed alt play at all. It's a shame that ascension leveling, basically if you want to be competitive or just progress at a decent rate, you have to use alt in the game. And it's just an absolute pain in the arse. I never enjoyed it. But now, at least, all dungeons, that's normal dungeons as well, can be run in horde mode, which is great, absolutely great. I'm not sure about your menu gauntlet in Orna, find that out, but this is a pretty necessary change. I don't know when the last kind of big discussion or public, not outcry, but there was, you know, quite intense public discussion about it on the Discord a few months ago. I don't know how far back it was, but at least they're now introducing it to the game. So we'll give that 10 out of 10. Next one, item quests. Now take any quality of item. This has probably been asked for like 4 years, or since the Orna quest system was introduced, which has always had to require a standard quality item. There's no discussion about this. 10 out of 10. 2, 3, 4 years too late, but better late than never. Berserk enemies are now denoted in battle when on low graphics mode. So if you've not played in low graphics, basically it removes the Berserk aura from the monster, and unless you were consciously aware of the health doubling of the normal boss's HP, there was actually no way to know that it was Berserk until it slapped you in the face or it zeroed you out. So I experienced this when I was doing an endless run, and I was like, why is this guy? I wasn't really sure what was happening, but I could feel like literally the same mob a few floors after was so much harder than like 5 floors previously, and I'm like, how is this scaling so ridiculous? And then the next floors would feel absolutely like no problem at all. Then I realized, yeah, those are for sure Berserk mobs. So happy to have that. 10 out of 10. It won't affect a lot of players, but for those using low graphics, that's a very good thing. And then this one, any kingdom quests can now be turned in by kingdom officers. Also very good. Saves time, saves yeah, it's just a nice quality of life for anybody playing in a kingdom, really. So 10 out of 10 there as well. another kingdom change. Actually, really nice. Check this out. So it tells you how many quests. You now have a progress bar for your kingdom leveling up due to quests. And in Orna, there is a line for war wins as well. And both will contribute to leveling up your kingdom, which is, of course, important for unlocking higher tier raids. So this is awesome. It's been, to be fair, this was one of the first things Northern Forge said they were working on when Hero of Aethric went live. So that's super cool. They've delivered on that. It looks slick. I like this circular end. Yeah, really nice there. So 10 out of 10 for those. And I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to wonder if there's anything else here I wanted to talk about. Not so sure. You know, they've played with they moved the codex down here and the quests on the left. They've also talked about updating the chat system. But I think we can move on safely to the roadmap now. So let's talk about the roadmap, which dropped. I'll link this blog post in the description as well. This was 3 days ago at the time I'm recording this that they dropped this. So what they're working on, RIP Faction Wars. By the way, that was on the previous roadmap for a couple of years, and unfortunately we're not seeing that at the moment. I don't know if that'll ever come in. It's not on this, unfortunately. Would love that to come back. But this roadmap is way more kind of focused than, I guess, previous roadmaps, which was just a list of nice to haves. So what they're doing then, daily mission system rework. So daily quests, they're essentially changing to increase the requirements. So instead of killing like 10 mobs, they're kind of increasing that size. But instead of giving you like a pointless random unknown item or a greater elixir or a material, you're actually going to get things like increased gold, increased experience for a few hours at a time. And that's the kind of quests that are in I've seen at the moment. I don't know if there will be if they'll develop those and introduce kind of more options, or in the future as well give different types of bonuses. But you can see here you'll earn a tiered reward, experience boost, movement speed boost in Orna. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Obviously that's only for Aethric, but yeah, basically they're going to increase the impact that completing daily quests is going to have on your gameplay. As someone who's not really bothered with daily quests on my main character for about 3 years, interesting for sure. So I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 for now. See how that goes. We then have Towers of Olympia again, which we talked about. So that's what's coming pretty much in the 3.4 1.1 update, I think. And then we've got these other things which they're working on. So soon TM, deep dungeons. So they're talking about developing new explorable dungeon types, similar to how Towers of Olympia works, where in Towers you actually move around. You have to tap on the screen to move, which in Orna, of course, is a new feature to the gameplay. So they're not going to change how dungeons are in their current state, but they want to offer an alternative to dungeon play. So mix up the gameplay, collection, battle, and a touch of lore. That's could be interesting. Collecting materials, fighting or sneaking past tough battles, and seeing how deep they can make it. Put on your mining gear and get ready for some spelunking later this year. I don't know if mining gear is some kind of Easter egg hint to that there'll be new gear to find, specifically for deep dungeons, or if it's just flavor text that Pearly's used. Anyway, new types of dungeons, I guess. The thing is, Towers is already kind of similar to dungeon gameplay, and specifically to endless gameplay. You do spend a lot of time there. So as someone who's done probably over 20,000 dungeons in my entire Orna career, and spent more time due to endless and things like that. Doing more types of dungeons doesn't necessarily excite me at this stage, especially if it's just an alternate to how they're currently doing it. However, appreciate the fact that they're doing something different, and excited to see exactly what it looks like closer to the time. So for now, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10, because I actually have no idea what it's going to look like. So pinch us all with all of these subjective ratings, etc. Okay, pristine weapons. Apparently been on their to-do list for quite some time. Offers you the chance to receive a resprited variant of a weapon if it drops above 195% quality. So ornate items, when they drop, the range is between 170 and 200% for ornate. So anything above 195 is considered, yeah, like, I guess, top tier ornate. Not trash tier ornate like 170 fake ornate stuff. So collectors among you, these weapons will serve as bragging rights and something you can show off with pride. Again, something, it's just like a resprite of the item, basically. Something shiny. Collectors, if you are a collector, that's fair enough. As someone, again, who's killed so many monsters and played the game so much, I don't really have much interest in this, because you already have the gear, it doesn't change stats. Cool to have in the game. I wish it came into the game like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and I would have collected a lot of these already, but because, yeah, you got so much gear already, and my personal rating for this isn't super high, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10 as well, but something new. I guess depends what the sprites look like. Let me know what you think. Okay, chat system rework. Yeah, be careful. Chat can be, depending on what part of the world you are in, chat can be interesting, useful, not useful, toxic. Seen a big mix of all of that. We hope to make the game feel more alive. This includes chat bubbles appearing over a player's head when in towns. That obviously applying to Aethric there, which is super cool. I'm actually really excited for that, specifically for Aethric. Don't know how this will affect Orna as much. I don't know how they can make the game feel more alive in Orna, unless you had an option for like to have chat overlay up in the top without having to go into the actual chat menu. I don't know. But they're gonna have. Oh, okay. They're gonna have broadcast as well. So when someone finds a pristine weapon, everyone in global chat will see it. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's a very similar thing in lots of other games. Yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. See how it goes. Hopefully it makes people feel in a more tighter community and less toxic. Or it might go the opposite way, I don't know. Never know with chat. Okay, additional action-based abilities. So basically adding a little more excitement to the battle system rather than just pushing buttons in the turn-based game. This is still very early in development, inspired by modern turn-based RPGs. A timing-based reaction lead to bigger damage, higher percent chance of status effect, or provide mitigation for incoming attacks. So they kind of want to freshen up the combat system. It sounds like. I hope this will be optional, because I don't necessarily play this game for the combat system. You know, for an action-based combat system, I'd definitely go and play other games. You know, I'm in this for the grind, for the items collection, that type of thing. We are players of the game and understand how the initial fear is how this will impact longer battles or efficient farming. These will be top of mind as we flesh out this new edition. I just hope that they make it a toggle, make it an option, because I wouldn't really appreciate having it forced. Having played the game as an old man for over 3 years. We'll see how it goes. See how it actually impacts the game or not. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10 for the moment. Before, again, this is like miles in the future, so I have no idea how it's actually going to look like. And then the later, So this is coming even after that. Kingdom Overhaul. Time for kingdoms to become a place where you can join in with your friends and work together to accomplish goals. We're going to rework the kingdom system from the ground up to feel less menu driven and have you interact with your kingdom mates in new ways. One of the ways they're going to do this is through kingdom housing. Going to offer up kingdoms a customizable area in which they can see and interact with kingdom mates in real time. So that's going to be, I guess, my guess is it's going to be something like the Origin Town. So in Hero of Aethric, for Orna players who haven't played it, you do get this Origin Town, and you can build. Okay, you can walk around it. Yeah, you can see how it looks like here. So I imagine it's going to look something very similar to this. And hopefully there'll be some kingdom buildings and stuff we can all help towards building, or even just hang out as like a guild section. I think this is super, super cool. And it's something people have been asking for a long time as well, to help make kingdoms feel more like a communal guild rather than, yeah, just a menu screen. So yeah, me personally, for that one, I'm super excited for that. I'm gonna give that 10 out of 10. I might even have to join back with Scream of Terror for that one. Okay, live events. We're looking to implement live events throughout the lands of Aethric. So these events will see players alerted to a community goal that must be met in a particular zone. Players in the area will then have to accomplish a goal together in order to spawn a menacing boss that will take hundreds of players to take down. Wow, hundreds of players to take down a menacing boss. I'm excited for this. 10 out of 10 for me straight off the bat. I guess the last kind of game I played that had something like that, it was like Lost Ark, where, yeah, like random events pop up in a zone, and players nearby would come and have, like, you know, maybe you had to kill like 10 of a certain mob, or, you know, you have like 60 seconds to defeat something. Then a major boss spawns, and you all take down the boss. This sounds like it's going to have millions and millions of health if it requires hundreds of players to take down. I hope they have like different tiered types of bosses, like you would have a tier 1 boss here, like Baycock, or I don't know if they're going to bring in new bosses, but that's something definitely exciting, and it would make Aethric, I think it would work really well for Aethric. You know, you have like hundreds of players. Oh, there's an event on the map in like Northrend. Everybody charge to Northrend. Go take that stuff down. That'd be super cool. Aethric also has a legend, so you can check. You can go straight to where the dungeons are. That's pretty cool. Site and workshop. All right. Nice. Nice. So if you haven't memorized the map of Aethric, that's coming as well. That's cool. Like that. So yeah, that sounds great. I'm going to give that 10 out of 10 for Aethric. Mounts and trails. So we talked about this on the pod with Dangy. I think the last 2 pods actually having mounts, specifically in Aethric, to make you walk a little bit faster. I'm sad that it's so far that it's in the later section. I wish this was coming soon. That'll be super fun. But yeah, not much about this. I think it's 10 out of 10. I think a lot of people have asked for it. A little bit of movement speed, but more importantly, you've got a mount. It'll be super cool. It's 10 out of 10 for that. Farming as well. Everyone's favorite gaming pastime. Yeah, of course. Coming to the Ornaverse later this year. So to be fair, if this later section is coming in 2023, but like the back end of 2023, actually that's not too bad. I'm pretty happy. It's not a million miles away. So, farming, new minigames. Me personally, okay, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. I'd rather farm in real life. Done a lot of farming in the past for games, all the way back to Farmville AS and before. But it's interesting, we'll see what they do. See what they do with it. 6 out of 10 for me. Keep it coming. This list doesn't cover everything we've got cooking. For instance, we're looking to create new monthly events, as well as modernize some of the older ones. That's always good. New high quality merch, so you can represent the Ornaverse. Okay, that's good. Revisiting base game content, and how to improve what you've done in the past. Always good. Finally, we're going to be creating follower sprites, so that you can have the functionality of a chimera with the cuteness of a dog. 10 out of 10 for that. People have been asking for pet sprites for a long time as well. So yeah, that's a great one to finish on. Let me know what you are most excited for in the dev blog or in the patch notes, and let's have a discussion about that in comments below. If you've got any things that you're kind of less excited about or worried about for any reason, yeah, let me know as well. It'll be interesting to hear your thoughts as always. And of course, as always, big thanks to the Arisen Orna Legends for supporting me on Patreon and Twitch, keeping me going with this Orna and Aethric content. Your support greatly appreciated. If you would like to support, help me make this content, links in the description of the video again. And finally, big thanks to you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next video. I'm Shabash. Ciao.